Contortion is a performance art in which performers showcase their skills of extreme physical flexibility. Contortion acts often accompany acrobatics, circus acts, street performers and other live performing arts. Contortion acts are typically performed in front of a live audience. An act will showcase one or more artists performing a choreographed set of moves or poses, often to music, which require extreme flexibility. A physical flexibility required to perform such acts greatly exceeds that of the general population. It is the dramatic feats of seemingly inhuman flexibility that captivate audiences. In some countries such as Russia and Mongolia, contortion holds special cultural significance. Skills. Many factors affect the flexibility of performers, including age, genetics, stature, and adherence to rigorous physical training routines. Most contortionists are generally categorized as front benders, or back benders, depending on the direction in which their spine is most flexible. Relatively few performers are equally adept at both. Skills performed by contortionists include front bending skills such as folding forward at the waist with the legs straight, or placing one or both legs behind the neck or shoulders with the knees bent. Back bending skills such as touching one's head to one's feet, or all the way to the buttocks, while standing, lying on the floor, or in a handstand. A marinelli bend is a back bend while supported only by a grip at the top of a short post that is held in the mouth. Splits and oversplits may be included in front bending or back bending acts. An oversplit may be performed while the feet are supported by two chairs or by two assistants. Enterology is the practice of squeezing one's body into a small, knee-high box or other contained space which initially appears to audiences as being too small to contain the performer. Dislocations of the shoulders or hip joints are sometimes performed as a short novelty act by itself. One example is lifting the arm to the side until it passes behind the head and lies across the top of the shoulders. Performances. Contortion acts are highly variable, with many incorporating elements of humor, drama, shock, sensuality or a blend of styles. Contortion is often incorporated into other performances such as dance and theater. Contortion may be incorporated into other types of performances. An adagio act is an acrobatic dance in which one partner lifts and carries the other partner as he performs splits and other flexible poses. In a ragdoll or gollywog act, one or two assistants bend, shake and carry the contortionist in such a way as to convince the audience that the disguised performer is actually a limp, life-size doll. The act often ends by stuffing the doll into a small box. Contortion positions can be performed on a Spanish web, an aerial act consisting of a rope with a hand-foot loop that is spun by someone underneath. Contortionists might manipulate props during their performance, for instance spinning hula hoops or juggling rings, balancing towers of wine glasses, or playing a musical instrument. A contortionist may perform alone, may have one or two assistants, or up to 4 contortionists may perform together as a group. In the past, contortionists were associated almost exclusively with circuses and fairs, but recently they have also found work performing in nightclubs, amusement parks, in magazine advertisements, at trade shows, on television variety shows, in music videos, and as warm-up acts or in the background at music concerts. The Ross sisters were American contortionists most famous for their musical number in the 1940s movie Broadway Rhythm. In addition, contortion photos and digital movie clips are traded by fans on the Internet, and several websites provide original photos of contortion acts for a monthly fee, or sell videotapes of performances through the mail. Some loose-jointed people are able to pop a joint out of his socket without pain, thereby making it difficult to determine if a joint is dislocated without medical examination such as an X-ray. However, as long as the joint's socket is the right shape, most extreme bends can be achieved without dislocating the joint. Actual dislocations are rarely used during athletic contortion acts since they make the joint more unstable and prone to injury, and a dislocated limb cannot lift itself or support any weight. List of notable contortionists: Magdalena Stoylova, D. Magic Shuran, B. Norov Sambu, Jessica Gaddix, Alexei Kolibriko, Arna Nardo, Bonnie Morgan, Christine Danton, Daniel Browning Smith, Doug Jones, Elena Lev, Irina Kazakova, Iona Luvsandage, Lazarus Chichu, Jasmine Straga, Australia; Jordan McKnight, USA; Lilia Stepanova, Leilani Franco, Madame Saint-Alache; Major Zamora, Olga Paikinko, Pina Conti; Richard Rosson, Rich Metacu, Ethiopia; Ross Sisters, Serchmar Yamba, Zlita, Maria Ifmkina, Takako Fuji, Lunga Bufelizi, Clifton Jerry, Jard Ridelic, The Oxidizing Angel, Ksusha Veslovskaya, Krzysztof Rojk, Elodie Gzo. Glossary. Backbend/backfold, any pose with an unusual degree of backward bending at the waist and/or any portion of spine while standing, kneeling, resting on the floor, or while suspended. Box act, circus act in which a contortionist squeezes his/her body into a small box or transparent container. Chest stand, any backbending pose in which the performer's chest is resting on the floor for support. Dislocate, 1. Verb to injure a joint by temporarily forcing the bone out of its normal socket. 2. Noun in men's gymnastics, a rotating of the shoulders when performing a backwards turn on the still rings. Many skills in acrobatics appear to involve dislocating a joint, when they actually do not. Durvasa's pose or crane pose, named for the mythological Indian sage, Durvasa, who supposedly assumed this pose during his years of penance, to stand on one foot with the other leg lifted in front and placed behind the neck or shoulders. Elbow stand, any inverted pose in which the performer uses only the forearms on the floor for support. Front bend, any pose that features an unusual degree of frontward bending of the waist and/or spine either with the legs together or parted. Front split, a split in which one leg is extended frontward and the other leg is extended backward, both at right angles to the trunk. Ideally, the hips are square facing to the front, while both legs are turned out from the hips. Hairpin, a pose in which one kneels down, sits on top of the feet, and bends backwards until the top of the head comes into contact with the tailbone. It may also done with a starting position on hands and knees. Head seat, an extreme back bend in which the top of the performer's head touches the buttocks. Usually in a handstand or chest stand. Human knot, a frontward bend with both ankles placed behind the neck. Leg shouldering, a standing split in which the leg touches the shoulder. Can be done to the front, side, or rear. Marinelli bend, from contortionist and international theatrical agent H.B. Marinelli, a head seat with the legs extended, performed while supported only by a mouth grip at the top of a short post. Needle scale, a front split while standing on the forward foot, with the torso bent downward with the hands touching the floor, while the rear leg is extended vertically toward the ceiling. Oversplit, any split in which the angle formed by the legs measures greater than 180 degrees. It can be done to the front with either or both legs elevated, or in a straddle split with one or both legs elevated. Passive stretching, 1. A static stretch in which an external force holds the performer in the static position. 2. The practice of having a relaxed limb moved beyond its normal range of motion with the assistance of a partner. In active stretching, in contrast, the limb is extended to its maximum range using only the muscles of that limb. Pike, to be bent forward at the waist with the legs and trunk kept straight. Point, in classical ballet, when a dancer uses special shoes to dance en pointe. The arch of the top of the foot is at its maximum when the dancer pushes over, causing the heel of the foot to be almost directly over the toes. Difficult and often painful to learn, both men and women may benefit from studying point technique, however, most performance opportunities are for women only. Children do not begin to study point until they have years of experience and sufficient ankle strength, as well as being old enough to ensure that their bones are strong enough. Ragdoll act, circus act in which a contortionist, dressed in a loose-fitting clown costume, gives the appearance of being a limp, life-size doll, as one or two assistants bend, roll, carry and pose the doll, and then stuff him/her into a small box. Rhythmic gymnastics. Rhythmics, Olympic sport for one woman consisting of a balletic floor exercise which demonstrates leaps, turns, balance and flexibility while moving and tossing handheld apparatus, a ball, a rope, a hoop, two clubs, or a ribbon. Men's rhythmic gymnastics currently exists in Japan, and is gaining worldwide acceptance. Rope act, circus act in which an acrobat performs exercises high above the floor while holding onto a long, vertically suspended rope, or hanging from a loop in the rope. Scale, in acrobatics, when the leg is raised toward the back and may be held with one hand while standing. Split, any pose in which the legs are extended in opposite directions such that the angle of the legs is 180 degrees. Straddle split, a split in which the legs are extended to the left and right, until a 180-degree angle between the legs is reached. Tortoise position, a seated forward bend with the chest against the floor between the legs. The outstretched arms are also against the floor and underneath the knees. Triple fold, a chest stand in which the knees come all the way over to touch the floor, and the shins lie flat on the floor. Twisting split, an exercise in which the performer changes from a split with the left leg forward, to a straddle split, and then to a split with the right leg forward, by rotating the legs, and without using the hands for support. See also, Cirque du Soleil, rhythmic gymnastics, artistic gymnastics, synchronized swimming. References. External links: Daniel Browning Smith, Guinness Book's Most Flexible Man in the World, The Contortionist's Handbook, The Contortion Homepage, International Contortion Convention News, information about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.